with my father really does define me, I feel, as an individual, quite extensively, to be honest with you. So I found out as he was getting more and more ill from motor neuron disease that secretly, even though he'd been so cruel, and he could be cruel to me about my career, and he'd be so unsupportive about me in the arts, I found out secretly this whole time, as he was getting more and more sick, he himself was writing. And I found that hidden on his computer was the script, a pre-script concept for a TV show. And actually, my father, for all his sins, had secretly been an artist himself. And he'd chosen medicine, but was passionate about becoming an artist. And it kind of clicked into place. And so just before he passed away, I told him, because he deleted the file, and it was in the recycle bin. You know, the recycle bin that disappears in 30 days?
And what made you even go through that bin? I mean, it's not...
I was talking to him about it and saying, you know, I'm thinking of writing. And he kind of chirped up with, oh, yeah, I tried to write, but it was shit. I was like, you know, don't talk to yourself that way. Tell me. And then I found out, and then I'm like, quick, like, take it out of the recycle bin. Let me read it. And he said, oh, it's nothing. I said, please, let me read it. And so in the last year, 2 years of his life, I read it, and that was really my first foray into writing kind of screenplay stroke television.
Right.
But due to what I think was a tiny bit of resentment or pain was if I'm going to become a writer-director, separate from, you know, the trauma of me working through my identity through burlesque, am I really going to make my first project as an individual, healed, proud, my father's dreams? And so even though I managed to get this turned into a pilot, I put it aside. I put it aside and I thought, no, why should I? How could you? You never supported me. Am I really going to carve out now?
Was that still like a residual anger? Resentment?
I mean, I'm not an angry person. I actually struggle really with anger because I quite like Earth. But definitely something. Do you know what I mean? I think it was an irritation and possibly underlying sort of resentment. Like, how could you? And it's just coming from a place of hurt, of course. So I didn't do anything with it, and I got distracted, and somebody offered me a gig as an actor on HBO, and I was very interested in that, and I could act, and I was good at acting, but you know, I was knew I had this possible talent. And then the worst possible news is I came back to the UK after being in Los Angeles, kind of being involved in all of these auditions that had just started back up again, and I saw him 1 week. I drove to my house in London. The phone rang at 8 p.m. It was my mum saying, Daddy's dead. And like, completely accidentally, 1 minute he was talking to her, the next minute, like mid-conversation, he just died. And because he had motor neuron disease and there's no assisted dignity in dying in the UK currently, he had a do not resuscitate. So even though the motor neuron disease didn't kill him in the end, my mother could do nothing. And as a doctor, she had to just watch it happen and wasn't allowed to bring him back to life, unfortunately, because the certificate had said it's his request. And that just destroyed me. In around that time, I also lost my partner, so doubly destroyed. So I was the lowest of the low. And I think that if you really assess your emotions, I think difficult times actually are shaping times. And I think the key to bad things happening in our lives is to understand that you're a victim of those circumstances, but not to be a victim. Things have happened to you, but they do not define you. They shape you. And I think only in fuck-ups happening, if you'll excuse the language, can you really reach your potential?
Yeah.
I think only in the worst possible things happening, in the most extreme things happening, that can be happiness as well, can you really fully experience the spectrum of emotions and process them and become an enlightened individual. And so that was when I thought, I need to pick up writing again. And a couple of circumstances happened where I was the ambassador of this charity.